This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, I think you already know this, but we should talk about it anyways. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Yep, that's the way that it goes down because, hey, why would it not matter? Let's talk about that because, hey, it is one of those things that we get to focus on from time to time as you and I get to hang out. And let's talk about this. Today is Friday, which means it's Freeform Friday, and it is February the 27th of 2026. I almost said 2025 there. So, yes, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues. No, seriously, hang out with our friends and colleagues. Well, should I say over there? Because it is kind of over there.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Oh, yes, some infiltration and Radio Big. Always a good combo in regards of what's going on. So anyways, how are you? How has it been? How's the last 24 been? Has the world changed for you? Well, shit, if you're with Netflix working on some deal to get Warner Brothers, well, you kind of realize that yesterday was not your day when it was all said and done. So there you go. So with that being said, it is Freeform Friday. So let's talk about this real quick because you might care, you might not care, but let's share it anyways. On Freeform Friday, what we do is we kind of play catch up. Not play with ketchup, but play ketchup altogether. So all the stuff that we didn't talk about earlier in the week, we get to do it today. Yeah, today is the day that we get to do all of that. So just in case. So there will be no main story. We will just be kind of going, here is everything that I got. So I'm sharing it with you. So let's kind of do that. So if you're good with that, I'm good with it. So if you want to interact with the show, callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, text messaging. Once that occurs, everything will change. And why do I say everything will change? Because what's going to happen is the following. We're going to go through and see all the messages that come across. And then they'll give me a little prompt over there on the screen, and then I kind of know what direction to go into. That's it. That's really how it boils down. So if you're good... Well, I mean, not if you're good. If you're cool with all of that stuff, we'll go down the path. Our show is a radio show that goes into a video, or really goes into a podcast and then goes into a video. So we are broadcasting on safetyfm.com and radiobig.fm. Then we kind of move over to the podcast network. Only the first hour of the show goes in. I think we drop it almost immediately after the first hour. And then hour 2 and 3 is exclusive to RadioBig.fm. But we are still on iHeartRadio. We're still on Odyssey. We are still on Live 365. So we're coming across all of the stuff as we can. But let's do this because I think I owe it to you because it's Friday. Why don't we go ahead and start off with the weekend review and take a listen to everything that was going on? So take a listen to this.
The state of our union is strong.
Speaking to Congress and the country, President Trump argued the first year of his second term was historic.
We ended DEI in America. We gave you no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors.
Billionaire and Microsoft founder Bill Gates apologized this week to his foundation for his past ties to Epstein, according to a recording reviewed by the Wall Street Journal, in which he also said he did not see or participate in any illegal activities.
FedEx now suing the Trump administration. They basically want a refund after the Supreme Court's tariff ruling. Basically, FedEx says that since the justices decided those so-called reciprocal tariffs on pretty much any country are illegal, the administration owes them money.
26 days into the search, 2 federal law enforcement sources tell NBC News officials are working on turning Nancy Guthrie's home back over to her family.
All right, here in the Northeast, we're getting a little more snow on top of this week's record-setting blizzard. Parts of New England are still struggling under more than 3 feet of snow. Tens of thousands of homes and businesses still have no power for a third day.
Actor Robert Carradine, the youngest of his prolific Hollywood family, whose biggest hit was the 1984 comedy Revenge of the Nerds, has died. His family says he died by suicide at the age of 71.
The Winter Olympics are over, and one of the big moments was yesterday when the USA men's hockey team beat Canada in overtime to win the gold medal! Canadians were so upset they started drinking their maple syrup straight from the bottle.
Okay, so that's the weekend review in case you were wondering what the hell was going on. So that's it. That's kind of the big concepts of what was going on throughout the week. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show. So I still have people that are waiting in the wings to talk to you a little bit about what the hell's going on inside of the world of the news for today before we get into the clusterfuck of everything else that we have going on. So that's kind of the hell kit and caboodle. So if you're good with this, I will bring in my friends from Feature Story News, and we can get that moving and grooving for you, and we'll see what exactly the world has to share of what's going on. So why don't we go ahead and get into the news right now?
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in the UK, I'm John Beaver. Pakistan has carried out a wave of attacks against Afghanistan, including airstrikes on the capital, Kabul. The Pakistani Defence Minister has described it as open war with their Western neighbours after months of ongoing border tensions. Hira Mustafa reports from Islamabad.
Pakistan has called its strikes inside Afghanistan a major military operation. It claims it's destroyed dozens of tanks, artillery pieces and personnel carriers. Security forces claim they destroyed 2 brigade headquarters in Kabul, as well as an ammunition depot and military installations in the Kandahar province. Immediately after the Afghan Taliban announced a military offensive against Pakistan on Thursday, the country's information ministry took to social media platform X, saying Pakistani troops had delivered an immediate and effective response. Relations between the neighbours have plunged in recent months, with land border crossings shut since deadly border fighting in October last year that killed more than 70 people on both sides. The two countries later signed a Qatar-mediated ceasefire, but failed to reach a wider agreement to end hostilities completely.
UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is under more pressure after the Green Party won their first ever Westminster by-election.
I hereby declare that Hannah Catherine Spencer is duly elected Member of Parliament for the Gorton and Denton constituency.
Labour finished third behind both the Greens and Reform UK. Hannah Spencer becomes the Green Party's 5th MP in Parliament. In her victory speech, the 34-year-old former plumber promised to champion working people. The constituency had been considered a safe Labour seat. Political editor for HuffPost UK, Kevin Schofield, believes the result means Sir Keir Starmer's leadership will again come under intense scrutiny.
We've seen so many U-turns, controversies, gaffes, and now we're coming third in heartland seats. I mean, don't forget Labour won this seat with a majority of nearly 13,500 just 18 months ago. So to go from there to 18 to third place is pretty remarkable.
Netflix is refusing to raise its offer to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. The decision effectively paves the way for Paramount Skydance to take over the Hollywood studio business. The deal for Paramount to gain control over the studio and its film and media networks is worth around $110 billion. But investment director at AJ Bell, Russ Mould, says uncertainty remains.
It may mean there'll be some mergers in things like streaming, for example, so maybe we all have to take out fewer subscriptions, but then the prices go up. So this has still all got to go through the regulator, the US Department of Justice, the UK Competition and Markets Authority. So this is going to be a very, very lengthy process.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking today at some big changes in Gibraltar, the British dependency situated on a rock on the southern tip of Spain. For the first time in decades, the land border that exists between Spain and Gibraltar is poised to disappear after a deal was struck with the authorities in Madrid. It means that Spanish border guards will soon be allowed to check passports of arriving passengers at Gibraltar's airport and port, and the nearly mile-long chain-link fence along the land border with Spain will disappear. Fabian Picardo is Gibraltar's Prime Minister and denies the draft agreement means that Spain is poised to secure control of the rock.
There is no dispute as to who Gibraltar belongs to. Gibraltar belongs to the Gibraltarians and to the United Kingdom. This treaty makes very clear that it doesn't concern any matters relating to sovereignty. Spain has a claim. The United Kingdom and Gibraltar are very clear in our ownership of Gibraltar, but this actually goes beyond that and starts to look beyond that boring politics of the nationalism of the 1960s and 70s. And it looks to create a Gibraltar that is able to access the European continent with the fluidity that we need for our businesses and for our people.
Thousands of people cross between Gibraltar and Spain every day, including 15,000 workers who live in Spain but work on the rock. The Prime Minister says the agreement will shore up those economic ties when it's implemented. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, Pakistan has carried out a wave of attacks against Afghanistan, including airstrikes on the capital, Kabul. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is under more pressure after the Green Party won the Gorton and Denton by-election. Labour finished third in what was once regarded as a safe seat. And Netflix is refusing to raise its offer to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. The decision effectively paves the way for Paramount Skydance to take over. That's the latest feature story news. John Beaver reporting.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Goodman, just to name a few on what could be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live. inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, so how much fun is that? Because that's probably maybe the question that I should be asking. What do you think? Okay, so there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse, just based on what it sounds like in regards of the information that's being provided to us. At least it sounds that way. So let's talk real quick because I got a lot of stuff to cover, little time to do so, and it seems like we're going all over the place today because that's just the way that it works. Okay. So, where you at? Like, seriously, where you at? Like, are you having fun this morning? I'm just asking. Because the fun has now changed again. Now, I have to tell you, before I get too far away into the dumps here, are you messing around with any generative AI in regards of like doing imagery? I'm just asking. Because if it is, what a clusterfuck that thing is. I don't understand. Like, where does it go with some of its stuff? It's all over the place. I've been looking at it and going, man, it makes no sense in regards to some of the stuff that's going on with some of the generative AI. I think you have to be like so specific. So maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's the prompt trilogy or what is it? The simulation that we're living in, the prompts or whatever, prompt theory. That's the wording that I'm trying to look for. So there you go. Anyways, 19 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's get into some of the stuff. Inflation hits parents in a new way. You want me to tell you? Let's talk about this. Tomorrow's National Tooth Fairy Day, and according to Delta Dental's latest Tooth Fairy poll of 1,000 parents, the average payout per lost tooth is now $5.84. A 17% jump after 2 straight years of decline. The Northeast is leading the charge. $6.45 a tooth, up 41%. The West average is $5.99, and the South is $5.89. And the Midwest saw the biggest leap, 52% to $5.27. Though still below the national average, the first two premium pricing kids are cashing in at $7.17 on average, and a 38% parent admit that throwing in a bonus. Meanwhile, 32% of kids got non-cash goodies instead of money, up from 19% last year. Since the 1998 payouts have soared 349%, climbing from $1.30 to today's nearby $6. So kids aren't losing teeth. They're liquidating assets. It's what it sounds like.
Duh.
I want you to think about that for a moment. Like, really think about it. If you are turning around, and this is what the average kid is making. I remember it was like $1 when I was a kid. And I'm not saying go with the dollar, so understand that. But does the Tooth Fairy really leave change nowadays in regards to the stuff that's going on? Because I need to know this. Like, when you do the change, you just kind of just throw it in regards of what's going on. I mean, I don't know. So there you go. Okay, so let's talk about this real quick. Some stuff going on with woman stuff that was sent to me earlier in the week. And of course, we forgot to talk about it. Have you ever noticed how women go to the bathroom in groups? The reason? It's strategy meeting. Compliance or compliments are exchanged, red flags are reviewed, and a full character analysis of a guy at the bar happens in under 3 minutes. Anthropologists could write a paper on female restroom dynamics. So what do you think about that? I'm just asking because I want to have a better understanding here. So there you go. Some stuff going on like always with that, because people get weird when they want to start talking about some of this stuff. I don't know why. It just is. It's just kind of a strange one. So let's get into some stories, because I think that that's going to be important. We're going to catch up with some of the stuff that happened yesterday, and then we'll talk about some of the other stuff that we have going on as well. The White House Correspondents Association is changing up this year, and instead of the stand-up comic, the group has tapped mentalist Oz Perlman to headline its annual dinner on April the 25th at the Washington Hilton. WHCA president and CBS News senior White House correspondent called Perlman the world's most celebrated mentalist, and said that he'll give the room a peek into what's supposedly on the minds of the Washington power players. The dinner raises scholarship money and hands out journalism awards. Traditionally, the president is part of the spectacle, but President Trump has declined to attend during his presidency. Perlman says that he's honored to join the past headliners like Frank Sinatra, Jay Leno, and
Conan O'Brien.
So there you go. Some stuff going on right there. What do you think? Makes it interesting. I mean, I'll just say that when it's all said and done. So there you go. Take a listen to this. If you were kind of watching the news yesterday, you might have heard about this. But Hillary Clinton showed up for a closed-door deposition yesterday and made one thing clear. She says she has zero information that could help the White House, or excuse me, help the House Oversight Committee in investigation into the Jeffrey Epstein files. In prepared statement posted before the session, Clinton accused the committee of dragging her into to distract the questions surrounding President Trump and his past appearances in Epstein's related files. She said the investigators hadn't pressed the president under oath or pursued details from Florida and New York prosecutors about Epstein's controversial 2008 plea deal. Instead, she argued that they are compelled to testify despite knowing that she had no knowledge relevant to the probe. Clinton reiterated that she was unaware of crimes committed by Epstein or for the Associated Press Ghislaine Maxwell, and said that she does not recall ever meeting Epstein. So there you go. What do you think? Some stuff going on there. So she came out yesterday, and I don't know, do we have a clip of that? She came out yesterday and started talking about what was going on. And okay, so yeah, here, take a listen to this. Former Secretary Clinton told the members of Congress yesterday that she had no knowledge of what was going on and for the 2-day deposition. Here's what she had to say.
I have just finished testifying. I answered every one of their questions as fully as I could based on what I knew. And what I knew is what I said in my statement this morning. I never met Jeffrey Epstein, never had any connection or communication with him. I knew Ghislaine Maxwell casually as an acquaintance. But whatever they asked me, I did my very best to respond. It was disappointing that they refused to hold a public hearing, so I wouldn't have to be out here characterizing it for you. You could have seen it for yourself. We had asked for that. We think it would have been better for the committee and its efforts to gather whatever information they are seeking.
So there you go, some stuff going on right there. So she came out and characterized exactly what was going on, according to her. Then earlier in the morning as well, apparently somebody had released a picture of her sitting at a table, and apparently the deposition got stopped because of the request of it being public, and they had told her no, and then somebody posted a picture of it. So it became a cluster, because that's how these things go in regards to talking about it. She didn't reference it on that clip, but I had heard a clip yesterday where she also said that they had requested, and when I say her, I'm talking about Hillary Clinton, information about Pizzagate. So it became a very interesting thing overall as we are talking. I mean, I don't know. It seemed like it was a little bit of everywhere as they were taking a look around. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are looking into this. Let's talk about some other things that are going on real quick. A new Kansas law just flipped the switch, and it already impacting hundreds of residents. Senate Bill 244 took effect on Thursday, requiring all state-issued IDs and birth certificates to reflect a person's sex at birth. That means that transgender residents from Kansas who previously updated their gender marker legally are now being told that documents are invalid. According to reporting from KCUR in Kansas City, the Kansas City Department of Revenue has begun sending notices instructing affected residents to apply for a new identification that complies with the law. The legislation also includes a bathroom provision barring transgender individuals from using facilities aligned with their gender identity. It allows private citizens to sue for up to $1,000 if they claim is a violation that occurred. Several states prohibit changing gender markers going forward. Kansas goes further; it voids changes that were already approved as well. So there you go. So here's my question for you, because I've been to several places that have this. So, of course, you can go to a bathroom, and a bathroom will normally have a male bathroom, it'll have a female bathroom. But the word I'm seeing a lot of things spinning up lately where it's a solo bathroom. And what I mean by solo is that it has only one toilet, one urinal, one stall, whatever you want to call it. There's only one, not a multi-person bathroom. And, of course, you have to wait to get in there normally. But it says, whatever you are, come on in. And I mean, it has pictures of aliens, mutants, the whole 9 yards here. Do you think that that's going to be the bigger approach? Now, I will give you this as an example. There is a mall here in Orlando that's known as Florida Mall. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, a mall's a mall. But if you go to the section towards where like Sports Authority, no, not Sports Authority, wrong place, Dick's Sporting Goods store is located at, they have a bathroom, and I think they have 6 of them over there. They're all individual bathrooms, pretty large bathrooms too. I mean, I'm talking about fully loaded rooms, but they're one stalls only, so you have to wait, and sometimes that line gets pretty serious for a mall. I mean, that mall is probably the closest mall, if I remember correctly, to the airport. So you automatically know that it's constantly packed out anyways. So if you get into that bathroom line, you're going to be waiting for a while. The point is, it's not about so much about that, but are we going to see this transition to where these bathrooms are just standalones opposed to groups? I mean, not that I ever needed to go into a group bathroom in the first place, but we can leave that for another conversation. And I did not realize with us doing Freeform Friday today, this is going to become the bathroom episode, but that's definitely the way that it's leaning with so much conversation about bathrooms so far. Okay, so with that being said, let's continue talking about some other things. A group of attorneys close to President Donald Trump is urging him to declare the national emergency that could give him the sweeping authority over upcoming midterm elections. Leading the push, longtime Trump associate Peter Tickton, who has known the president since their days in New York Military Academy. Peter and Trump lawyers drafted a 17-page proposal of executive orders arguing that alleged Chinese interference in the 2020 election justifies the emergency powers. The draft claims that it's clear and compelling evidence that foreign threats have intensified. Though U.S. intelligence agency said that in a 2021 review, and while in China considered interference, it ultimately did not act. Under the proposed order, the president could bypass Congress and implement nationwide voter ID requirements, ban mail-in ballots, and require hand-counted paper ballots, measure that would go beyond the approved SAVE Act, which would require proof of citizenship to vote, and is currently facing opposition from congressional Democrats. Peter acknowledged that the election oversight traditionally belonged to Congress, and states that argues that alleged foreign interference creates grounds for executive action. I almost said execution action. Listen to me. He also said that reportedly that certain conditions with the White House, and ABC News reports that the president has reviewed the draft, and the White House said that the President Trump is focused on ensuring confidence in election, including accurate voter rolls and preventing unlawful registration, and continues to urge Congress to pass the SAVE Act and related reforms. So let me ask a question, because maybe I'm just not having a good memory with everything going on, and that does happen from time to time. Didn't the president pretty much say a good chunk of this during the State of the Union address? And I'm talking mostly about how he's going to not allow X, Y, and Z, and kind of almost has this packaged together in regards of what he said that he was going to do? Or am I looking at this entirely incorrectly in regards of what's going on? I'm just asking the question because if you think about it for a moment, it does seem that way. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Am I looking at it incorrectly, or are you going, no, this was said at the State of the Union? Now, if you do not remember all of the 2-hour event, I get it, because it was not a short event. So just some things to think about as we are talking. Anyways, with that being said, 32 minutes past the top of the hour, we would normally do our main news stories, but it's Freeform Friday, so you know what that means.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in the UK, I'm John Beaver. Pakistan has carried out a wave of attacks against Afghanistan, including airstrikes on the capital, Kabul. The Pakistani Defence Minister has described it as open war with their Western neighbours after months of ongoing border tensions. Hira Mustafa reports from Islamabad.
Pakistan has called its strikes inside Afghanistan a major military operation. It claims it's destroyed dozens of tanks, artillery pieces and personnel carriers. Security forces claim they destroyed 2 brigade headquarters in Kabul, as well as an ammunition depot and military installations in the Kandahar province. Immediately after the Afghan Taliban announced a military offensive against Pakistan on Thursday, the country's information ministry took to social media platform X, saying Pakistani troops had delivered an immediate and effective response. Relations between the neighbours have plunged in recent months, with land border crossings shut since deadly border fighting in October last year that killed more than 70 people on both sides. The two countries later signed a Qatar-mediated ceasefire, but failed to reach a wider agreement to end hostilities completely.
UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is under more pressure after the Green Party won their first ever Westminster by-election.
I hereby declare that Hannah Catherine Spencer is duly elected Member of Parliament for the Gorton and Denton constituency.
Labour finished third behind both the Greens and Reform UK. Hannah Spencer becomes the Green Party's 5th MP in Parliament. In her victory speech, the 34-year-old former plumber promised to champion working people. The constituency had been considered a safe Labour seat. Political editor for HuffPost UK, Kevin Schofield, believes the result means Sir Keir Starmer's leadership will again come under intense scrutiny.
We've seen so many U-turns, controversies, gaffes, and now we're coming third in heartland seats. I mean, don't forget Labour won this seat with a majority of nearly 13,500 just 18 months ago. So to go from there to 18 to third place is pretty remarkable.
Netflix is refusing to raise its offer to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. The decision effectively paves the way for Paramount Skydance to take over the Hollywood studio business. The deal for Paramount to gain control over the studio and its film and media networks is worth around $110 billion. But investment director at AJ Bell, Russ Mould, says uncertainty remains.
It may mean there'll be some mergers in things like streaming, for example. So maybe we all have to take out fewer subscriptions, but then the prices go up. So this is still all got to go through the regulator, the US Department of Justice, the UK Competition and Markets Authority. So this is going to be a very, very lengthy process.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking today at some big changes in Gibraltar, the British dependency situated on a rock on the southern tip of Spain. For the first time in decades, the land border that exists between Spain and Gibraltar is poised to disappear after a deal was struck with the authorities in Madrid. It means that Spanish border guards will soon be allowed to check passports of arriving passengers at Gibraltar's airport and port, and the nearly mile-long chain-link fence along the land border with Spain will disappear. Fabian Picardo is Gibraltar's Prime Minister and denies the draft agreement means that Spain is poised to secure control of the rock.
There is no dispute as to who Gibraltar belongs to. Gibraltar belongs to the Gibraltarians and to the United Kingdom. This treaty makes very clear that it doesn't concern any matters relating to sovereignty. Spain has a claim. The United Kingdom and Gibraltar are very clear in our ownership of Gibraltar, but this actually goes beyond that and starts to look beyond that boring politics of the nationalism of the 1960s and 70s. And it looks to create a Gibraltar that is able to access the European continent with the fluidity that we need for our businesses and for our people.
Thousands of people cross between Gibraltar and Spain every day, including 15,000 workers who live in Spain but work on the rock. The Prime Minister says the agreement will shore up those economic ties when it's implemented. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, Pakistan has carried out a wave of attacks against Afghanistan, including airstrikes on the capital, Kabul. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is under more pressure after the Green Party won the Gorton and Denton by-election. Labour finished third in what was once regarded as a safe seat. And Netflix is refusing to raise its offer to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. The decision effectively paves the way for Paramount Skydance to take over. That's the latest feature story news. John Beaver reporting.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's RULA.com/safetyfm, because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
I know you all want to hit your revenue targets and get the launch done. Well, making sure that your team knows what to do and how to do it is a huge part of it. So I'm sure that you all do different kinds of training, and I'm willing to bet that you probably use PowerPoint, Zoom, etc. I also bet that when you get someone droning on about a topic using these tools, you probably zone out. And your team does too. I mean, it is a reality of what happens. That's why I strongly recommend a tool called Articulate 360. That makes it so easy to whip together interactive, really beautiful e-learnings that really engages people and gets info across. You can create short-form micro-learning, super interactive courses, and really whatever you need when you're in their site. Then with a couple of clicks, you can send it out and check on it and see the progress of your team. Your team can also check back on the training anytime they want in a super simple portal. Literally everyone uses Articulate. Over 120,000 companies and all 100 Fortune 100 companies. Check it out at articulate.com/360 to start a free trial. That's articulate.com/360 to start your free trial. And don't forget to tell them that I was the one that sent you there.
You've seen the loop. You've felt the shift. The script doesn't fit anymore, and neither do you. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct is the third and final signal in the trilogy from J. Allen, PhD. And this time, it's not about waking up. It's about what you do once you're awake. The system didn't break. It just stopped pretending to hold you. And now it's blinking, rebranding presence, packaging resistance, and calling it progress. This book isn't a guide. It's a transmission. It doesn't teach the system how to evolve. It shows you how to stop performing for it. You'll see what happens when awareness becomes responsibility, when audits don't listen, and when leadership becomes a loop. But if you've made it this far, you're not here to be managed. You're here to carry signal. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct. Now available in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by J. Allen, PhD. Because if it couldn't hold your signal, it was never real to begin with.
Our station is so big that you don't have to do much to make it work for you. Radio Big.
Okay, welcome to this Freeform Friday edition of the Rated R Safety Show. As we are hanging out doing our thing. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. Currently 43 minutes past the top of the hour. This right here, the artist's name is Free the People. The song is called Moonlight. Yeah, we played this one before, but I like it, so we came back to it. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. So there you go. So there you go. Thank you to Free the People for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. No doubt there. Okay. I would recommend strongly giving a little streamer-emer action if you don't mind as you take a listen to that one, that's for sure. Anyways, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Our Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now and that healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com, and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, audio, video, and text messaging, not really. That's not really what's there. What's there actually is information. Just want to see if you're paying attention. Related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support. Listen, you go there, it can change everything for you. I don't say that, and I don't say that lightly. There's so many good resources on that website. I look at it almost daily in regards to the information that's there, and I am always amazed on the stuff that gets updated, changed, and the more plethora of information that's there. That's TWLOHA.com and the section that says Find Help. So there you go. Okay, let's continue talking a couple things real quick before I forget. We have an event coming up at the end of next month, March the 31st through April the 1st, going on in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It's the Conklin Workshop. It's going to be Todd Conklin talking about some incidents that have happened inside of the environment, but we're really going to take a deep dive on an incident that would happen with Redonda Voigt. She had a firsthand experience on what was going on. Ann Liren will be there actually from a hosting capacity, and then Brent Sutton will be there in regards of talking about information in regards to how to manage this, in regards to some of the tools that he has actually done. So there you go. That's happening March the 31st through April the 1st, Santa Fe, New Mexico. All you have to do is go to the little QR code that's on the screen. You can scan that, or you can actually go as well to safetyfm.com and click on the section that says live events. That's one thing that's going on. The other one that we have going on, that one's coming up in the summer. That is the Reality Shift Observational Symposium. Would love to see you there. We'll have Nick Weatherly there talking about behavior-based safety. Todd Conklin talking about human and organizational performance. We'll also do a version of a movie for you to see. We'll talk about that as you are there at the event. And I will close it out talking about Signal Trilogy. Would love to see you there. It is a one-day symposium taking place, and we're really talking about synthesis here. That's really what it's going to boil down to when you start taking a look at some of these concepts that we'll be talking about during that symposium. That's actually happening July the 13th, 2026 in Orlando. Yes, that's on a Monday. It's just a one-dayer. And the reason why we're doing it on a Monday, that way if you want to come over during the weekend and hang out in Orlando, you have the opportunity in doing so. So there you go. All for that one, there's a QR code on the screen as well, or all you need to do from that particular point is actually go to safetyfm.com and click on live events. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. So let's talk real quick because I want to reference this. I want you to think about something real quick. I want you to think about this from a different aspect. You've seen the stuff that's going on with Netflix and the stuff that's been going on with Paramount Plus trying to acquire WBD, Warner Brothers Discovery, just in case. Isn't this crazy that they had an agreement? I mean, not a finalized agreement, but we'll say it a good faith note, as one would say. And all of a sudden now, not Netflix, but Warner Brothers is like, Paramount's now giving us a better offer. What is this, the third or fourth try when it was all said and done? Weird times on how that works, but I guess that's just kind of the state of business when it's all said and done on how things get done sometimes. So there you go. Okay, so let's talk about it because it's Friday. So let's talk about some movies that are coming out today. Scream 7 starring Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, Joe McHale. That comes out today. It's a new Ghostface killer emerges in the town where Sidney Prescott has built a new life. Her darkest fears are realized as her daughter becomes the next target. That comes out today. Also, Dream starring Jessica Chastain and Isaac Hernandez comes out today. A powerful American socialist and an undocumented Mexican ballet dancer begin a dangerous affair in this tense erotic drama that hits theaters today. Also, Matter of Time, starring Sean Austin and Ali Austin. I wonder if they're related. Charlie Fleck, a 29-year-old aspiring video game designer, is given the opportunity of a lifetime on stopping a device given to him by his friend, an eccentric toy shop owner, Gibbs. And then The Napa Boy, starring Armin Westman. A mysterious individual known as the Sommelier leads a group of friends onto a strange trip through a wine country. That hits theaters today. And also the other one is called Undercard, starring Wanda Sykes and Berto Colon. A boxing trader reconnects with his son that she abandoned It hits theaters today, so there you go. That seems, I don't know, seems a little too close to life there. I mean, I'm just saying. So yeah, that's what I know. And let me make sure that we get this straight. Sometimes on Freeform Friday, we totally mess up and forget to talk about the movies that people seem to care about. So there you go. And let me kind of talk about this because I always love these. Freeform Friday is exactly that. It's everything. So that's why we don't do a main story, because sometimes the main story takes some time. And it's not that I don't love what we normally do, but let's change it up a little bit from time to time in regards to the stuff that's going on. So
take it easy.
So there you go. With that being said, let me bring in my friend John Small into the mix here and let him tell you exactly what's going on with the Motivation Minute. You might enjoy it. No, seriously.
Brought to you by JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Marty. Abram Joshua Herschel said, "Wonder rather than doubt is the root of all knowledge." I feel like today's generation is getting ripped off. You have the answer to every question at your fingertips in a few seconds. You never have to think about anything. When I was a kid, we didn't have the internet. We did have encyclopedias that were most likely outdated. Our set was from the 1970s. That, by the way, was in the 90s. So these books were 20 years old. Think about how many things will change in 20 years. This is why I love to say that we grew up in an age of wonder. We would sit and wonder about things for hours. Maybe we would discover an answer, or better yet, we could think about the different possibilities. Young people today are missing out on this. This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
In South Asia, tensions are in sharp focus as a Pakistani man goes on trial in the United States over an alleged plot to assassinate President Donald Trump.
Prosecutors say the defendant worked with contacts tied to Iran to scout possible targets, including Trump, on American soil. The case, brought in federal court, lays out encrypted messages, overseas travel, and alleged payments that investigators say reveal a wider conspiracy. Gary Beck reporting.
The United Nations is issuing a stark warning about Colombia, saying the country's human rights record is sliding backwards.
UN officials report rising killings, threats and displacement in rural regions where armed groups are expanding control. They say community leaders, former rebels and human rights workers are among those increasingly targeted. Colombia's government insists it is committed to reforms and security. Benjamin Wright reporting.
U.S. federal agents have searched the Los Angeles School District's headquarters and the superintendent's home as part of a widening corruption probe.
The FBI executed warrants at Los Angeles Unified School District offices on Wednesday, seizing documents and electronic records. A spokesperson says investigators are looking into possible misuse of funds and contracts, but no charges have been filed. Jessica Oakley reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
A sheriff in South Florida says a deputy shot and killed a man suspected of fatally shooting two people and injuring another before ramming the officer with an SUV.
Authorities say the suspect first opened fire at one location, killing two victims, then drove to a nearby store and wounded a third person. Deputies later confronted the vehicle, and investigators say the driver accelerated into one of them, dragging the deputy some distance. Lawrence Keller reporting.
A house explosion in Massachusetts has left several people hurt and a quiet neighborhood shaken.
Video from the scene shows a home fully engulfed in flames after the blast, with nearby houses damaged by flying debris. Local officials say multiple residents were taken to hospitals, but their conditions have not been released. Investigators are focusing on whether a gas leak or mechanical issue triggered the explosion. Kyle Norris reporting.
Immigration enforcement is under fresh scrutiny after federal immigration agents detained a Columbia University student at a residence hall in New York.
University officials say the agents identified themselves as looking for a missing person, then arrested the student after gaining access to the building. The student was later transferred to federal custody, though details of the case remain sealed. Civil rights advocates and campus groups are demanding answers on how the operation was conducted. Kevin Sanders reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
Okay, that definitely sounds a little rough, no doubt about that. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 1974, People magazine began selling. Also, back in 1981, Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder record Ebony and Ivory. In 1991, singer James Brown is released from prison. Also, 1992, Tiger Woods, 16 at the time, becomes the youngest PGA golfer in 35 years. 1998, Apple discontinues developing Newton computers. And let's see, in 2019, Luke Perry suffers a stroke on this date. So there you go. Let's talk about some celebrity birthdays that are going on today. Barbara Badcock turns 89. Neil Schroen turns 72. Johnny Van Zant, 66. Adam Baldwin turns 64. Chelsea Clinton turns 46 today. And Josh Groban turns 45. So there you go. There's some birthdays going on for you today. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know, because that seems to be a thing. The NASCAR Duramax Texas Grand Prix is Sunday at 3:30. Catch the race on Fox. The race is in Austin, Texas, just in case. The Trump administration just announced that they're pausing more than $250 million in Medicaid payments to Minnesota over alleged fraud, a move state officials called the latest act of political retribution against the Democratic-led state. So there you go. Also, after 17 years behind the desk, Tony Dungy's run on NBC may be coming to an end. Dungy has been a fixture of football night in America. The studio show that tees up the wrap-ups for Sunday's night football, but reports say that NBC is planning to revamp of the football coverage, and Dungy's future is now up in the air. No final calls has been made. The network could still pivot. Another possibility is that the kind of honorary roast, scaled back position NBC previously gave legend like Al Michaels and Bob Costas. So there you go. Also, tonight's Mega Million is $458 million. Tomorrow's Powerball is for $238 million. Did I say that the other one's $458 million? Also, drink mint water. It reduces stress, clears complexion, improves digestion, and keeps you hydrated and boosts your immunity. In some other news, lawmakers are getting heat after it revealed the Polymarket is letting users gamble on the disappearance of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. While investigators are still searching for her, the site says that live betting the contract on whether her alleged kidnapper will be arrested by tomorrow. So instead of just following updates, people are literally wagering on them. More than $188,000 has been already been thrown into the bot, nearly double the $100,000 reward that the FBI is offering for information in the case involving the mother of the Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. Critics say that it turns the active missing person investigation into a betting spectacle. Lawmakers are now facing pressure to step in and figure out whether this is a kind of real-time tragedy wagering should even be allowed. So there you go. A lot of stuff to think about. Anyways, at the top of the hour, I'll be going over to RadioBig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. You can stay right here on Safety FM and hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. That's it. That's going to sum up our time. I appreciate everything that you do. If I can't leave you with some words of wisdom for today, I would love to leave you with this. There are no shortcuts to any place worth going. That's one thing. And that's going to sum it up. So there you go. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
searching for love ashore. Hearts are now anchored, we're searching no more. Braving our way through the darkest of night, dressed in the skin of your luminescent light. We are our ship searching for love ashore. Hearts are now anchored, we're searching no more.